Hi everyone, this is Heather Washington from the Flourish Academy. This is episode 410, and this episode is in response to a question I received on YouTube from episode 406. Now you might remember in 406 I was talking about the two numbers that you must know if you are considering leaving your job in order to pursue photography full-time. If you haven't seen that episode, then I encourage you to watch it. But there was a comment left on my YouTube channel that I thought was really good, and I am going to guess that there are a lot of people in a similar situation, so I'm going to read the comment and the question and then we can discuss it. He says, I am in the early stages of exactly what you're talking about, which is leaving a full-time corporate job in order to have a full-time photography business. I am the primary income source in a large household. So if you're reading between those lines, then obviously this person has responsibilities. I am making the transition to become a full-time photographer. It's definitely a time with risk, pressure, and yes, fear. You think of being unsuccessful and losing your home or not eating. And you know what, before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever been hungry? And I don't mean like, oh, you were a little bit hungry, you were hangry because you're a little bit late for your snack or your lunch. I mean, have you ever known what it's like to be hungry? Because I have not. And the chances are, if you're watching this, you probably haven't either. Also, have you ever been homeless or without clothes? If you have never been naked on the street without clothing, shelter, or food, then you have to really ask yourself what the risk is here. Certainly, you have bills to pay and responsibilities. I get it. But have any of you ever gone without food? I'm guessing that you haven't, and if you have, forgive me. But I don't think that's probably the case. Okay, so he goes on to say he's been building a portfolio and client base for a few years, taking the steps slowly while working. Each year, my amount of clients grow, and I'm beginning to feel the challenge of balancing work, photography, and family life. That's a clue, by the way. If your business is growing every year and you're having a hard time balancing, then you're probably at the point where you have enough clients to sustain your business. However, I don't know your numbers. So without knowing those two numbers we discussed in episode 406, or understanding your financial obligations, it's hard to say, but based on that information, it sounds like the business is going well, meaning you have clients and it's growing, which is good. I know the technical side enough, and I feel to hold my own in the marketplace. I'm trying to gain more knowledge in marketing and business to make it successful once I do pull the trigger. Anyone else out there have experience to share? So if you're watching this video on Facebook Live or on YouTube and you have experience to share in terms of how you left your full-time job to pursue photography, please, we beg of you to leave a comment because it helps other people. Have you ever been on the edge where you feel like it's go time and had to take the step into photography full time? So what he's asking is, when is it right to take that leap? Now, obviously you have to understand your financial situation, and then you have to assess where you're at with your photography business. If you have clients and you are growing, that's a good sign. Then you're probably doing a lot of things right. And maybe you just need to get a little bit better in a few areas, but probably you will continue to grow and continue to get more clients. Now, I will tell you this, I work with a lot of people, self-included, that left their full-time corporate jobs to pursue photography. And typically, you're working a full-time job. It sounds like this person also has a family. So full-time job, family, and you're ramping up a brand new business as an entrepreneur. I'm going to tell you straight to your face, it's going to get harder before it gets easier. Obviously, you don't want to be irresponsible and just quit your job and start your photography business, but you have to understand that building a business takes a lot of time and effort. And of course, you know that working a full-time job does as well as managing a family. So it gets really hard. What I think you're asking is, where is the breaking point? Where and when do you know? Well, I don't think you're ever going to feel completely 100% confident that it's the right thing to do. You'll always have some trepidation. But if you're making good decisions and you're a responsible adult, there really isn't a bad, good, right, or better time to do it. Usually it just takes a leap of faith, understanding that you have the talent that you need. You possess the technical skills and the marketing skills to get the clients and grow the business, and you can always learn. And listen, you have to ask yourself, what's the worst case scenario? If I leave my corporate job and I work in photography for a while and it's less than ideal, or it's not what I thought, or it's not paying the bills, then the worst possible scenario is that you go back and get a job. And that is really not the worst thing in the world. I always had that in the back of my mind, although for me, failure was never an option. Turns out I don't even believe in failure. I think there's no such thing as failure. It's just feedback that's correcting your course, telling you to maybe pivot and go in a different direction. So I always thought, well, if this doesn't work out, I can just go get a job. You can always just go get a job. You're a responsible adult. So there really isn't, for most of us, the chance of being naked, homeless on a street without food. I mean, that's probably not going to happen because you would not allow it. You would either do whatever it took to ramp up and grow your photography business, or you would go get a job. So this takes some confidence, this takes a leap of faith, and this takes trusting yourself that you can do it. If you've been in this situation and you'd love to help, then please leave a comment and let's help one another flourish. I'll see you in the next video.